100% of the kidnapping situations, there's law enforcement involved. They are the government. There's no separation power in that case between the narcs and the Venezuelan government. They are the government. They control the society through businesses. It's an economical structure called as crony capitalism. Vender Agua is a satanic gang. They do follow satanic rituals. So when people tell you there is a fight between good and evil, motherfucker, there is. It has to be the world crisis. Who the fuck created the world crisis, economical crisis, printing money out of thin air?
One of the arguments against God is that kids are born with cancer or born with some disability. So you feel that's karmic retribution. Okay, so this is the get ready for some shit. Tell us how you started, how your involvement with the feds in Venezuela happened.
Well, I had martial arts academy, right? Mm-hmm. And I have someone that it's very important in the kidnapping and extortion division of the scientific police, CICPC. And what happens is that, I train him, and he asked me at one point to kind of train his unit. And that's how little by little I got involved with them. I actually was, one morning, it was a Sunday morning, and he called me like 7 a.m. in the morning or maybe earlier. And he told me, hey, grab your gun and meet you at this address, which was a bakery early in the morning. So I got my bike, boom, and I go there. But there, I used to move on a bike all the time, right? And then, boom, I get there. When I get there, okay, there was a kidnapping attempt, but they shot the guy, so the guy's in the hospital, but we think this is it. Okay. And I said, why did you call me? Because everybody's busy, and I need backup. And I was, okay, but you know, okay, come with me. So we started looking at security cameras and this and that and what happens here and there. And we started following two cars that some witnesses described, which was, I still remember, a Jeep Cherokee white and a Jeep Cherokee black and a Corolla, Toyota Corolla black. And then we started following it, and we started asking the security cameras of different buildings, and we kind of traced them down. So we got to another bakery, but very old school, had nothing, no cameras, no nothing. And the owner was Portuguese guy. And then when my friend shows up and says, I'm doing this, and he flashes the badge, right? I'm doing this, and we're looking for this. Yeah, for a kidnapped victim and whatever, and an attempted murder and blah, blah, blah. So the guy got nervous, right? The poor Portuguese guy working in his bakery, I don't know, 70 years old. He got scared. And the guy got super nervous and shit. So I took the guy to the side, and I go, man, sorry, forget about them. Forget about him. You know how cops are. So, and I started talking to him and speaking to him in Portuguese, right? But talk to me. What do you see? Do you have anything you can help us to kind of find the victim of this crime or whatever? And so the guy calmed down. I asked him, hey, can you make us a coffee? We can make a coffee. So he made a coffee, and then we did the coffee. And he said, well, there's a guy that always comes here, and he is this and this and that, and he has this position at the regional police. And he drives this car. Remember the Dodge? There was like a hatchback Dodge.
No.
Oh, horrible car. Anyways, and is that or Harley Davidson, Fat Boy Harley Davidson? I think it was blue, he said, or something like that. And then, but he always comes. He lives nearby. Okay, thank you. And I go and I talk to my friend. And when I describe the guy, he goes like, "Oh, fuck, I know who he is. We have him under." Then he asked the guy, "Sorry, he has a tattoo that is like this and like this and like that in the arm." And the guy, the owner of the bakery, yes. That's oh, fantastic. And he told me that we know who he is. He's a dirty cop. We've been after him for a long time. And we started driving the bikes, trying to find a place. And then we saw the bike. And down there, all houses have like very big walls or fences, and it was all metallic fence, very long, very tall metallic fence, right? Very strong metallic fence. And the bike was parked there. So this guy goes and like, oh, we found him. And he rings the bell. And this lady, like grandma, I don't know, 60 something years old. Abuela with her apron on, this flowery dress comes in. And hi, how you doing? Look, my name, and he gives a fake name. My name is Martinez, whatever. So, I love the bike. I wanted to buy the bike. Is the owner around so I can
Nice.
make him an offer? I said, no, he's not here. He left the bike, but he's not here. Oh, but I really want to. Can you? I'm trying to take a picture, and I told you the fence was like very tall and very narrow spaces in between.
Had the spikes,
the poles, right?
Yeah, posts.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. And I can't take a picture with my phone because I can put my hand in. So can you let me take the picture? Open the. Oh no, I don't know. So you go, no, just to take a picture because it's beautiful. I'm gonna give you my card. He has a bunch of fake cards. I'm gonna give you my card for him to call me because I'm really interested. I'm gonna make a very good offer. Finding one of those bikes down there, it's really hard, and especially at the time it was very, very, very rare.
Okay.
And then lady opened the door like this much. Boom! He opened the door and he went in. And it was like, what? I'm back up. So I was like, okay. So I just walked in and well, he did everything. He did everything. He did the whole rescue. He did an amazing job and recovered one person that had nothing to do with the case, but ended up putting this guy in jail. And what happens is that you have to understand that 100% of the kidnapping situations, there's law enforcement involved.
Fuck.
Now, in the case of Venezuela, kidnapping business, because it's a business,
Yeah.
it's management. It's from the government. The kidnapping and the drug business in Venezuela, the management is the government. It's called El Cartel de los Soles. The Sun's Cartel.
So, yep.
That name is because Venezuelan military officers use a sun as one of the signs they have. It's a sun, so that's why I call. Because remember, the Chavez was a colonel, lieutenant colonel, am I right? And the guy that actually owns and handles the dictatorship in Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, he was a lieutenant, I think. So they're all military people, right? And that's why they call the cartel El Cartel de los Soles. And might be right now the richest cartel in the world. It is the richest cartel in the world. One of the most powerful. Why the richest? Because they have the oil money.
Okay.
They move drugs in military planes and ships and oil ships. They move anything they want.
So they work in alliance with the government.
They are the government. There's no separation of power in that case between the narcs and the Venezuelan government. They are the government. Diosdado Cabello, the one that runs the dictatorship, is the chief of El Cartel de los Soles. There's no separation of power.
Okay.
Okay? So...
And you think that kind of government corruption, you've seen it in a number of places? You and I had discussions.
Not only seen it in a number of places, it's right now, as we speak, Hugo Carvajal, El Pollo Carvajal. Carvajal was the military chief of intelligence for Hugo Chavez and Maduro. Okay? He escaped Venezuela, went to Spain, and was living free there. He didn't escape per se Venezuela, but he got kind of out of situation and then ended up in Spain. But Spain is a government slash soon to be dictatorship paid by and controlled by Venezuela. And so they extradite slash kidnap Carvajal by the U.S. He is right now in the U.S. in court, and he already pled guilty of trafficking drugs, human trafficking, and many more crimes. He is about to be sentenced for 2 life sentences, and he's trying to make a deal because he has every information, not only to bring down the Venezuelan government, but to bring down many, many governments. Many governments. He has the proof. This is not a conspiracy theory. He has the papers, that things we've been telling people for 20 years or more. He has the proof of all of that. Like, for example, Chavez, it's Venezuela, it's ground zero for the WEF, World Economic Forum, worldwide dictatorship. Why? Because when Chavez took power, you have to understand that Venezuela is probably the richest country in the world.
Really?
Not only because he has the biggest oil reserve in the world, which is, I think, 2 or 3 times bigger than Saudi Arabia, the second. Yeah. It has a very specific kind of crude of oil that is super dense, super thick. It's like a paste. It's the only place. And it's that oil is super expensive. Venezuela has brutal amounts of that. Venezuela has gold, silver, diamonds, rubies, bauxite. Venezuela has uranium. Venezuela is the richest. That little thing is the richest country in the world. It's not, oh, my country, this country is super rich. No. Venezuela is filthy rich. Filthy rich. Okay? Plus, Venezuela, because it was so rich. So I remember I lived in Venezuela in different moments of my life because I lived in many different places, right? Like when I was a kid, I lived in I was born here in Canada, but I grew up in Latin America. Then I moved to Europe, right? So when I was a kid, I lived in Mexico, I lived in Venezuela, I lived in Brazil, I lived in Uruguay, I lived in many places. And I lived different moments in Venezuela. I was there when Hugo Chavez did the coup d'etat. I was in high school, I think, when he did the coup d'etat in 1992. I was there. And I was there just to that attempt of coup d'etat, but I was there. And then I was there when he was elected. So I left the country and I came back when he was elected president, right? And so Venezuela was so rich that we could go on the weekend to Miami to go to supermarket, to Walmart, and go back home. Dubai is nothing. You think Dubai is rich? You have no idea what Venezuela was in the 70s and 80s.
Wow.
And it was so rich, so it was completely normal for anyone to go study abroad. So everybody in Venezuela went to at the time in the 70s, 80s, everybody studied in Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, Stanford, La Sorbonne in Paris, or Complutense de Madrid, and whatever. The best universities in the world. Everybody studied there. And they went back to Venezuela and practiced in Venezuela. There was no, you have a degree, welcome, start working.
Yeah, fair.
There was no, how do you sell it when you assess the credentials and things. There was nothing like that. So you are go and work. Cool. So it was full of that. And then that's the people that started teaching at the universities. And then you have you have the Universidad Central, the Central University, which is free. And you have these guys who are the professors of the people that couldn't or didn't have the money to go travel and study there. Well, but they were the teachers, and they were so rich that there's many, the universities were available to bring in professors from other universities to teach in Venezuela. So people in Venezuela were very well educated, with real titles, with real degrees, very well educated. So you have a society that is super rich, well educated, and politically well versed, because Venezuela has a political turmoil historically. Okay, like many places in Latin America, right? If you can control that place, you can control any country in the world.
Okay.
That happened because when Chavez attempted a coup d'etat against a guy that was called Carlos Andrés Pérez, that was the president at the time. His rival, Rafael Caldera, who became president after, is part of the plan of that coup d'etat. He did the coup d'etat, he failed because he was really bad and because they were fucking cowards. So he ended up in jail. But when Caldera took power, he forgave him, right? Gave him the when you forgive someone politically, I forgot the name. Okay? Pardon. He pardoned him, right? And then he was out. And then he ran for president. And he was doing really bad. He was doing really bad because he was talking about Fidel Castro and about communism and everything like that. This is what many people don't know. Now people know more about that. So Chavez was contacted by a guy named Anthony Blinken, a Democrat.
Yeah, that name's familiar.
Yeah. At the time, in the late 90s, he was part of that committee, Democratic Party, that will get the money for the fundraisers for the Democratic Party, for the people that was running for president, things like that. So he had a lot of connections, right? That was his job. So it's said by people I know inside that Chavez was contacted by this guy. And he was flown from Venezuela to England. Tony Blair was the prime minister of UK. You know that Tony Blair and Blinken are very high up in the World Economic Forum. Then he was flown supposedly to Switzerland, to Davos, the WEF.
Yeah.
He stayed there a month or so. He was trained there, and then he came back. So Chavez's all of flights inside Venezuela for his campaign, he did it in Richard Branson's plane.
Wow.
You know, Richard Branson is very high up in WEF too. He did it on the Richard Branson's plane and completely changed the tone of his speech. No, that Cuba is a dictatorship and we're not going to do that. We're going to apply social policies without having to become socialist because we want the private enterprise and blah, blah, blah. We want the investment and that's what makes the money run and that's what makes us produce. And we're a rich country. We have to do this. And we're going to bet to even make education completely free for everyone. And because we have the money to do it, we're going to cut the taxes off because we have so much money. No one has to pay taxes, which has one of the highest taxes in the world right now. And socialists know how to do is to increase taxes because they don't know how to produce money, right? So, and he changed his speech. Now, hear me out. He won with 70% of the votes of only 30% of the people that voted.
The math isn't mathing.
Now, of that 30% of people vote, he got 70% of the votes. But there's no second laps in Venezuela. So he won. Now, if you read a couple of Noam Chomsky's books, there's actually a book that gives you a recipe of how to install a dictatorship. Yeah. Noam Chomsky is a brilliant guy, philosopher and politician, but is super ultra lefty. Sadly, too much, right? Now, step by step, Venezuela, Chavez followed that situation. So one of the things they did is they went out and got IDs, the IDs from people, for example, in the Amazonian jungle, right? It's like the National Guard used to go there, and they do it up to this day. Give me your ID, everybody, good. And then they, at the time, they just put it in a bag, go to the voting center, look at all these people, the IDs are here, they're voting for Chavez. Nice. And a bunch of dead people voted for Chavez and all of that.
Kind of like Biden.
Yeah. And many more. So they did it like that. And Chavez won. So the sign of a dictator, the first thing they do is they do amendments to the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So he did a bunch of amendments to the Constitution to the point that he changed the Constitution in the end. Right? So many amendments that right now is a different Constitution, right? So much that just a few months ago, the Constitution changed completely. Venezuela cannot be anything but a socialist country from now on. It's unconstitutional. The same constitution Cuba has, right? It's unconstitutional to be something else but socialist.
Okay.
So Chavez stayed in power, and then he started rigging every single election, and he did a lot of referendums and rigged all the referendums. So they started a system to rig elections. And they started to test that system with something called the Sao Paulo Agenda.
Okay.
La Agenda de Sao Paulo. Okay? So that started in Latin America. But all of this comes from the WEF. So Chavez founded this company called Dominion Voting System.
Yeah.
And he bought some machines, Italian machines called Smartmatic. Those are the machines that you use in Italy for the lottery. You can read the lottery because it's Wi-Fi connected. A voting machine, it's basically a hard drive. It cannot be Wi-Fi connected because if it's Wi-Fi connected, it can be hacked. Yeah, that's right. So then that machine runs in a program called Election 360. That tells you everything you need to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
The two guys that did that Election 360 program were two 20-something years old that studied at the Universidad Metropolitana in Venezuela, private university. And Chavez paid them $4 million for that. They disappeared. They live in Washington right now. They did another company that they sold for hundreds of millions of dollars, so they're well off right now. And then they founded Dominion Voting System, along with the general that is now a retired general that is now the president of Dominion Voting System. Dominion Voting System, its headquarters, it's in Toronto, Canada. Him, as a personal individual, is one of the top founders of Trudeau's campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think he's going to bet where he's going to lose?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, they developed the whole thing. They know how to rig elections with the voting, with the mail-in ballots, and with the machines. And Carvajal has proofs of everything that I'm saying right now. I saw those machines working at the scientific police and the forensic department of the scientific police. That you vote for one, and it prints out a little paper that says one, and you see the vote for one, and then the algorithm runs whatever they want to do. Right? So El Pollo Carvajal has proof not only of this, but how the Dominion voting system rigged for the WEF elections in more than 70 countries.
Well, that was the complaint with the 2020 elections with Biden, with Trump.
But it was not only that election. Supposedly, in paper, he can prove how Obama rigged the elections. Elections were rigged with Dominion voting system in more than 70 countries. Okay? Including Venezuela, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, Bolivia, Peru, Panama, Salvador, United States, Canada, Spain, Italy, France, UK, Germany, and many more countries.
Now, with him having such powerful information, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but we've been talking about this. We've been telling people about this. This has to do with what we're talking right now. So just to let people know that we're not being rude with the phone.
Yes, there's a call that you're waiting for precisely about this.
Hopefully about this.
Yes.
And the thing is that what's going to happen, we don't know. But he has proof of what all Venezuelans been saying for more than 20 years. This is a bigger plan. This is going to fuck up your country. And it happens like this and like this and like this. Now, the people don't believe, this fucking banana country in the middle of South America. Who gives a fuck about it, right? But the banana country, I told you, is the richest country in the world. It was one of the most educated countries in the world, and it was one of the most politically educated countries in the world. If they were able to rig the elections and put that country under that pressure, and also, Venezuelans are not pussies. So they went out on the streets. I went on hundreds of protests. People's being killed, massacred in Venezuela by the National Guard and the police. Like, you have no idea how much, but not only Venezuelan National Guard and the police. There's been Cuban G2 agents dressed up as National Guards and Iranian military and special forces dressed up as National Guards shooting at Venezuelans because they don't give a fuck about Venezuelans, right? Mm-hmm. So they dressed up as such, they go into protest, and they just start shooting people, right? So that's how that's how crazy it is. And you will say, well, why is this work so well? Well, something very simple. Why would the military, why would the police allow this to happen? Well, easy. One of the things they do was taken from Fidel Castro, is that you're a police officer. So understand this. For dictatorships in general, right? But we learned that with the communist and Soviet Union, right? There is not one small person, because Lenin was one small person that started the whole movement, right? So they don't believe that there's one small person. If there's one small person, they're going to take it down. Mm-hmm. Him, her. They're going to take it down. That's why there is the black list, the famous Tascon list in Venezuela. That I am in that list. My name is there. I have a copy of the list. My name is there. That's the black list, which is in Venezuela and for sure in Cuba too, right? So the thing is that they know that there's no one is too small.
Okay.
So they're going to take anyone out of the way. Good? Mm-hmm. And they control every single aspect. They have people controlling everything. So how do they do it? Super simple. You are a police officer. No rank. You just started in the police. Okay, cool, fantastic. I'm going to open a bank account on your name, on your behalf. You have no idea about this. Mm-hmm. and I'm going to put some drug money into that account in, I don't know, Switzerland, Portugal, or anywhere else. If you betrayed me, of course I'm going to make the fake case here, and I'm going to jail you, which happened with many people in Venezuela. But if you escape, I'm going to give this information to Interpol, and they're going to jail you, and they're going to probably bring you back so you can be trial here in Venezuela, and we're going to fuck you up. There is not one small person for a regime. So every single person that works in the government, every single police officer, every single National Guard, every single military, everybody can be or has a bank account with drug money or human trafficking money or something like that. Something like that. It's absolutely brutal. That's how they control people.
Well, everybody can be touched. Everybody has that pressure point.
So when people think, and especially when people think that's not going to happen here, here, any country, it could be this country, or it could be the next country, but dude, it is happening. It is happening. Why? Because it's a script. I see speeches of Biden or Trudeau or Macron or whatever. It's a translation of Chavez's speeches. There's some speeches that are translation. It is amazing. Sanchez in Spain. It's the same speech. It's the same speech. So what the WEF does is that they train people to follow this. They create this character that you see in all of these individuals. That is a person that is completely detached from reality, to the point that it seems to you, oh, fuck, it's crazy. Yeah, it's completely detached from reality. They have no, like when people were going around saying fuck Trudeau, and he was saying that it's because he's famous, right? Remember? He said that or not?
But fuck Trudeau.
Yeah. That, it's because I'm famous. The people like me so much that they're saying my name. It's like that kind of psychopathic behavior that is trained by the WEF. Now, who could you train with that? You could train people like that. They are, in a sense, dumb, morally weak, right? Freud used to say that people will talk about what they don't have. Sick people talk about health. Poor people talk about money. And politicians talk about values and integrity.
Ah, very good. Okay.
Okay. So people talk about what they don't have. And but who did the WEF will put in power in front of you to tell you what to do? Weak people that you see them and it's like, this is ridiculous. You are absolutely incompetent at what you're doing. You have no clue. You have no reason to be there. It's impossible for you to be there.
People question that about Trudeau, why he was in power.
Yes,
guy was a fucking drama teacher.
Well, understand this, not only Trudeau, you look at Biden. Poor Biden.
Sure.
He was being used like a puppet, right?
Yep.
And you have Lula in Brazil, which is an iron worker, might have fantastic ideas, but you see him talking, he doesn't know Petro in Colombia. Men saying that the guy said that if we make a lot of crimes legal, there will be, therefore, less criminals in Colombia. He said that. Or Chavez saying that we'll have crops of chicken. Crops of chicken.
Yeah.
It's like that kind, and look at Macron speaking. It's the same in Sanchez in Spain. In the UK, you had Johnson that couldn't put the words together.
Yes,
Steiner now,
all true.
Exactly. Why? Super simple. Because if you obey such a figure, if you do what this person is telling you to do, you have lost your self-respect.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
This is mass psychology formation. This has been studied. The Nazis did it for years. This is mass psychology formation. It's part of that. Okay. And that's how they basically create a crisis to stress you out and offer you the solution to that crisis. And then
Like
they
COVID.
create, like COVID, like climate change. They create a bunch of crises. Am I right? If you pay more money, there's going to be less pollution. Okay. So
Yeah.
more carbon tax or whatever.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
So they create crises. It's called the Hegelian dialect, right? It's based on Hegel, the philosopher and politician, professor at Austria, I think, university, that taught Lenin, Marx, and many other the Hegelian dialect. And he's in the sadly, not many people, including not many communists, have read the Communist Manifesto. Okay? Because when you read it, and you're 15 years old, like the first time I read it, because I was raised super lefty,
Wow.
it was like, oh, wow, it sounds fantastic. Why am I saying this? It sounds fantastic. You know, there's no poor people because you give the money to the poor people. Everybody, education is free. When you learn about economy, you understand that nothing is free. But when you read it again at 25, it's like, oh, fuck, this makes no sense. Because someone's going to get fucked up by doing this.
Yeah.
Right?
Someone
Now,
has to pay.
So if you go right now to the WEF webpage, they have 17 points of how to make the world a better place. No pollution, no hunger, no. And you go to the 164 points on how to make this 17 points work.
Yeah.
Fuck. They want to kill us all. They're saying it there. You will own nothing and you will be happy. You will be happy because there's a social credit score. You better be happy because this is something against us and you're fucked. You can now walk into a supermarket ever again.
That's right.
It says it's on the webpage. It's not a conspiracy theory. They talk about it. You go listen to any WEF speech. They talk about it, about how they're going to control the society. They control the society through businesses. It's an economical structure called as crony capitalism. Yeah, a technocracy. Companies are the ones running the governments because are the ones with power, with money. It's a crony capitalism. You can go and read about it. That's the concept. It exists. That's the way they do things. Lobbying. That's crony capitalism. All right?
Yeah.
I control everything with private money. Right? It's the wrong use of capitalism, if you want to call it that, because people has the wrong understanding about capitalism. Capitalism is confused often with consumerism. But capitalism is the accumulation of capital to be invested or redirected into producing more. That is capitalism.
Okay.
Okay? It's not about me having power and making you work for free. No. It's about having money and then creating more wealth. Okay? And creating more wealth.
I see nothing wrong with capitalism.
No. It could be like anything else. You could use it for wrong, right?
Sure.
Like, it's like, let's go to Spider-Man, right? With great power comes great responsibility. So it's the same. But it's not, but people have a wrong understanding of capitalism, thinking of capitalism as consumerism. You're going to buy the expensive watch, you're going to buy the expensive car, you're going to travel around the world, you're going to do. I know a lot of people that are millionaires and I know one that doesn't even have a car because he doesn't like to drive it. He doesn't like driving, so he takes Uber. But has millions in the bank because what he likes is to make money. And I have friends that are like that. What they like is to make money. That's it. It's to make the money and invest the money. And that's the game. It's a game for them, right? So it's a game. They enjoy that. They're pure capitalism, pure capitalist. I don't know anyone that helps more people than these people that I know. Out of their pocket, money, no problem. They don't throw it around, but someone needs a medicine, a surgery, a house. Man, somehow under the table, they're going to make that happen without exposing themselves in social media. Hey, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, real, and all of those people that do that I know are capitalists. None of them are socialists. Okay? Only the socialists I know they do that is to avoid paying taxes.
And I don't see why anybody wants to pay more taxes than they need to. That's the
In
common
this situation, exactly.
Yeah.
Because back in the days, you pay taxes, you buy your house, you had your car, you had a family, you could raise a family, your kids were going to school for free with the taxes you were paying, you will have a health insurance, everything fantastic. But why are you paying taxes right now? Let's be honest.
because I have to.
Well, because you have to pay the taxes. So the government has the money to protect you against the things they will do to you if you don't pay taxes. Right? You pay them so they have more police officers, more courts, more judges, more laws to fuck you up if you don't pay taxes.
And realistically, with the amount of taxes that somebody pays, like I'm at the highest tax bracket, but what does that avail me? You know, the police are overworked. They can't do shit for you.
No.
The medical system is fuck proper here in Canada. I don't care what anybody says. You know, I don't want to go to the hospital and wait 8, 9, 10 hours to be seen by a fucking doctor.
It's unrealistic. How is that going to happen in a country so rich as Canada and so fantastic? 10 years ago, you walked into an emergency room and they were waiting for you.
Yeah.
They were waiting. Oh, thank you. Thank God you're here. Come on. What do you need? 2 minutes, you were out.
Right. So how did things get so fucked up?
They do it on purpose. It's like the passport crisis or the airport crisis. They do it on purpose because they create the chaos. And what's the solution to your chaos? More government.
Yeah.
Who's going to solve the problem? No, you shut up. You don't say anything. You're just a rich dude. All right? You don't understand society. You don't go to the supermarket. So shut up. We, the politicians, are going to fix this problem.
The problems they created.
The problems they created,
yes.
Right? So that's a cycle. The Hungarian dialect, that's a cycle. And they keep on doing it. Good, again and again and again. And they create, so Chavez, when he took power, he spent $5 billion in weapons. I'm not going to tell you the majority, but probably 50% of them ended up in the favelas, in the barrios, in the poor ghettos, arming the gangs that are called círculos bolivarianos, that are the guerrillas that control the city for the government. They terrorize people, so you don't have to set up a curfew legally because everybody has a curfew because at night there's no police, there's just these gangs running around.
So it's self-imposed.
It's self-imposed. You don't get out. So for example, in Caracas.
Very smart.
In Caracas, if you want to go out and in main cities in Venezuela, you have to drive to that area where all the restaurants or nightclubs are in. And I remember at one point where we used to go there, clubbing, and get out at 6 a.m. in the morning because it was safer. You don't want to drive around at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. You just wait till 6 a.m., you go out, have breakfast, and go to your house. 10 times safer.
You're right.
Right? So there's a curfew, self-imposed curfew because of that danger. And all of that people is working for the government. So they go and they organize the worst of the worst and they make a gang. In the case of Venezuela, it's called Tren de Aragua.
Nice. Yeah.
Tren de Aragua was founded by Diosdado Cabello, by El Pollo Carvajal. Tren de Aragua has a very, I like to explain like this. Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13, is like your kindergarten teacher next to Tren de Aragua. Because Tren de Aragua is a satanic gang. They do follow satanic rituals that I've seen with my own eyes.
You have to explain that. I tell everybody that story, dude. That's fucking insane.
So the thing is that they do satanic rituals. So they do sacrificing of people and babies and gang rapes and all of that satanic thing. So for example, to be part of the Tren de Aragua, you have to kill not a person, but a cop. Specifically a police officer. That's how they force you. It's an evil that you haven't seen. And when people tells me, oh yeah, but I don't know, I come from the Middle East, which I'm sure is absolutely horrible, the violence that happens there. But these evil thing that you see in Tren de Aragua, it's not normal. It's not normal. So I remember when I met El Pollo Carvajal, when I saw the guy's eyes, it's like, oh, fuck. This guy is an asshole. It's like you could see, because he's not bad, because he's not the one that tells other people what to do. He's the one that likes to do it.
Mm.
You understand?
Yeah.
He's the one that likes to do that thing that no one wants to do.
Yes.
He likes to hands-on. Right?
Yeah.
And when I met, for example, Diosdado Cabello's brother, dude, such a bad energy. No, bad energy. It's like, the guy was an asshole. He's not bad energy. No, the guy was the things that he did just in front of me. It's like the way it's amazing. So what happens is that they are a satanic gang. So when people tell you there is a fight between good and evil, motherfucker, there is. If you don't see it, you're living under a rock.
I think people don't want to see it. I think
But it's the same as they don't want to see that my government is corrupt. Like, we're going to put an example here in Canada. Because Canadian government has been so fantastic for so many years. And it's my dad. My government is my dad in Canada, right? Because he protect me. So he's never going to do anything wrong. So Canadians are right now not under the Stockholm syndrome, but more living under a father that sexually abused its kids.
Yeah.
They are absolutely paralyzed in fear. Because understanding that the only entity that protects you against the bad guys is the bad guys. It's hard. It's horrible because you get stripped out of everything that takes care of you. There's nothing. I thought I was being taken care of. And it turns out that those are the bad guys. No, it cannot be true. It cannot be true, man.
Why do you think we refuse to believe? I've never seen
because
greater.
Because it hurts. Because it's the same if you tell a kid, hey, your father is hurting you with that abuse. Yeah, but it's my dad. He loves me. Or if you're the son of a, narcissistic father or narcissistic mother, it's like, you don't understand that until you're 50 years old, if so.
Yeah, and with a lot of therapy.
And understanding that real narcissism is a torture you go through. And a kid can't accept that the source of love and respect is the one that is hurting me. But it's the same. Canadians were raised to believe that the Canadian government is perfect and it's there to protect me and to take care of me. And you need a house, here's your house. And you need money, don't worry, we'll take care of it. You have money, you can buy whatever you want to. This is a stable economy. Nice. So when everything goes sideways, who are you going to blame? Your government that has been taking care of you for so many years? No, it has to be something else. It has to be the world crisis. Who the fuck created the world crisis, economical crisis? Printing money out of thin air. Trudeau printed, but this is a strategy. Trudeau printed more money than all of the previous prime ministers together. Biden did the same.
Yep.
Chavez did the same. You know who else did something similar? Hitler printed British pounds and threw them over Britain to create economical crisis. So I think up to 1972, printing an excessive amount of money is there's a legal frame for what I'm saying in my rudimentary English. It was an act of war. And that act of war is being perpetrated against the citizens by
the government.
Their own government. And it has happened. So the Kirchners did the same in Argentina. Lula did the same. printing money that crazy? Because you create inflation, and then you have Venezuela with over 1 million points of inflation. You understand that? Over 1,000,000%. So when I left Venezuela for what I sold one of my cars, I could now maybe be able to afford a bag of rice and maybe half a dozen of eggs. And more. So it's like, I'm just giving an example. It might be 250,000 points of inflation, right? Or 100, not even 100,000 points of inflation, right? $100,000 car, now it's worth $1. The rise of bag, right? Imagine 1 million point of inflation. That's Venezuela. You can check it out. It's legal. That he did that by printing money like crazy and by changing the money, but taking zeros out of the money. The same that they did in Turkey. So it's the same thing. It's the same process. It's being tested over and over again. And they did the same in Brazil. So what happens is you create inflation because you print out money out of nothing. So just a basic example that everybody knows. I'm right. I have this nice cup that is cost, I don't know, $10, right? So I have $10 that are backed up by this beautiful cup, right? So I can use the $10 because I have something that backs up those $10.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Now, if I go and I draw another $10 bill, both of those bills are backed up by one cup. I don't have two cups. I still have one cup.
That's right.
Okay? Now that's inflation. How, in the case of Venezuela, how does that happen? Well, isn't the case of oil, right? What's the problem with oil, basically? It's like, I have a well of oil, and we have 400 billion barrels in that well of oil. That is worth such an amount of dollars.
Right.
So now the bank has this amount of money based on that. But it turns out that when I extract the oil out of the 400 million barrels, I had only 250,000 million barrels. So I have more money than what is supposed to be in that well.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Okay? So that's a problem with the oil money or backing up the petrodollar, right?
Yes.
And that is a way to create inflation, because the people that controls the money don't suffer inflation. Mm-hmm. They have the money, which is made out of thin air, basically, right? It's like a projection. I think I have the money like this, where I'm going to lend money, and now I lend you $10. And with interest, that's $12 when you pay me back.
That's right.
So I'm going to go and do a business here, and I'm going to say that I have $12. I don't have the $12. You have 10 and you owe me 12 because of the $2 of interest.
That's right.
But I'm playing along telling this guy that I have 12.
That's right.
You understand? Mm-hmm. So that's basically, I'm not an economist, right? But it's basically how they create this facade of a strong economy. And so, for example, in Venezuela, Chavez used to say the Bolivar, which is the national money, it's as strong as the American dollar. You just took a bunch of zeros out, and now this 1 million bill, it's worth one, which is $1. Right. Yeah. And people would believe that. People would believe that, because how is the government going to hurt me? Why? They will never do that. They take care of me. They will never. It's so hard because it's that you're kidnapped inside your own house. Mm-hmm. So you will find ways to explain this abusive relationship you have with your husband or wife, right, that is toxically abusing you, psychologically destroying you. Your brain is going to find ways
to justify it.
To justify that source of love is not actually hurting. It's because he had a hard childhood. That's why he behaves that way. No, he behaves that way because he's an asshole.
Right.
Right?
Dude, I get it. I mean, I as far as Canadians are concerned, ever since COVID happened, I've never viewed Canadians the same way again. I never got past it. They
became Nazis, every single one of them. So not every single one of them, but let's say the big majority, right? So what happened with COVID which we know, and now we can speak openly, and I'm not going to get my Instagram account suspended again, like it happened many times when I said it at the beginning.
But
right?
we may get canceled.
Yeah. We know it was fake. Fake in the numbers. So if you go
100%.
If you go right now and you check the statistics, epidemiological statistic of your country, Canada, the US, worldwide, and you see how many people die of flu and respiratory diseases alike, you will see that 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 was exactly the same number.
That's right. Yep.
They changed the name from flu to COVID.
That's right.
You say, no, it's not. It's like, because of the masks and the social distancing and the vaccine, they control the flu and people died of COVID. So you're telling me that they had the way to protect you from flu for the last 50 years and they didn't do it? If they stopped the flu with the masks and the social distancing and the lockdown, they could have done it 50 years ago. They could have saved your grandma, your granddad that died of the flu, consequences of the flu.
Right. And all of a sudden during COVID, nobody died from the flu.
Exactly. Just died from COVID.
That's right.
COVID, understand this. COVID is a coronavirus. Coronaviruses have been around humans for the last, I don't know, maybe 50,000 years. Okay. However, depending on which theory you're following about human life on Earth, right? Since humans have been dealing with animals, we have coronavirus. Coronaviruses are zootic viruses, right?
Okay, yeah.
They somehow, through hundreds of thousands, of years of mutations, get to jump and affect humans, or get to jump and affect a different species, all right? Well, unless you put it in a lab
and supercharge it
paid by Fauci.
Yeah.
And then it jumps into people, right? But coronavirus, it's the virus that produces the common cold symptoms. And the influenza virus is the one that produces the flu-like symptoms, right? So if you have cough, throat, mucus in your lungs, that is common cold. If you sneeze, running nose, blah, 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 you have the flu. That's clinically how patient comes in. See, patient, you have this. Okay, cool. You have the common cold, so do this, right? Nice. It's that. Oh, but the ventilators, no one ever, when I heard they were using ventilators on obstructive respiratory conditions, they're killing people.
Yep. And that's what they were doing.
Is it you get up tired, fill it up with water, and then put some air in it. You see what's going to happen. Water doesn't compress.
Yep.
It's going to blow. That's what happened with the lungs.
That's right.
Right?
But then they use that as a scare tactic to make people more afraid of COVID.
And I remember because one of my students came to me, professor, they're going to declare the pandemic. I say, it's impossible. No, there's no pandemic. I mean, for a pandemic, you have to there's 5 points of fire requirements to name an infectious disease a pandemic, from epidemic into a pandemic.
Okay.
They changed the concept. I didn't know that. WHO changed the concept from those 5 conditions or points into an infectious disease present in various countries. So what do you need to declare a pandemic? Just declare it, because everything is an infectious disease present in various countries.
Yep.
That's right. So they changed the concept and they declared a pandemic, but numbers-wise, there was no pandemic. Am I right? Oh, you want to tell me there was an endemic or an epidemic? Yes. There was a lot of people sick. There was a virus flying around.
Yep.
I'm not saying, no, the 6G antennas were fucking, no. I don't know about it. I know frequency and electricity affects us because we're electrical beings, right? I don't know if that, there was a virus. Yeah, of course there was a virus, because there is in between 50 to 80 coronaviruses flying around every year, and between 100 to 120 influenza viruses flying around every year. And that's how they make the flu vaccine, which, by the way, doesn't work.
That I know.
It's a projection of what type of virus are going to be present the next year based on the cycles of viruses.
I thought they take what is currently active in Australia.
For example, yes. But Australia does it that way.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, and remember during the lockdowns, what's going on in Australia was going to come here. So we knew what was
Yes,
going
yes.
to happen. As in Canada, we knew what was going to happen due to what was happening in Australia, because Australia and Canada were the two most fucked up countries with the hardest restrictions, right?
Mhm.
And then they made everybody wear that muscle that makes absolutely no sense. Because I remember walking into one of my first classes, working to the burnt unit. You know, the burn
Yep.
patients are. And I remember the professor grabbing the mask and saying, this will not protect you or them from anything. So wear the mask and stay away from the patients because of the exposure of the burnt skin.
Mhm.
You have the best mask you could buy, you could walk around with is an N95, M3,
Yep, that's right.
N95
Yep.
mask, which it has the size of the pores.
3 micron.
Yes. The thing is this: the size of the that's a projection in certain space. But to give you an example, the pores of the M95 is 10 nanomicrons, 10,000 nanometers, 10,000 nanometers.
Okay.
Okay, 10,000. A coronavirus is in between 80 to 150. Is that trying to stop a mosquito with a poultry fence?
Yeah, that was the common joke. Oh, it was so disappointing to me to see people just so fucking weak.
I'm so proud of myself. I didn't wear a mask in 2 years. Never. I went to the supermarket. I even went to hospitals. I know you have to wear them. No, I don't. Because no, I don't. No, I don't. Yeah. And but it's all of that. All of it is because of the same idea of creating that crisis and giving you the solution of the crisis. So if we go back to the arming the gangs, right? Well, but it's the same creating that you just asked me, the passport crisis. Why is there going to be a passport crisis? Why do you have to wait 3 months for a passport? So one of my kids was born in Venezuela. Due to the situation, because of his mom, last name, family, it's very important in the opposition. Her uncle is the founder and president of the first party in opposition against Chavez, COPE. It's a democratic, Christian Democratic Party. And so all of her family lives outside of Venezuela in political asylum, real political asylum.
Okay.
And so because of her last name and me being involved in somehow in politics and some helping somehow the unit of the scientific police, it was impossible for us to get a passport. And I found, remember I told you I was an actor in Venezuela, right?
Yep.
I did many things in Venezuela, in Colombia, in Miami, in Panama. So I found an actress whose family is really deeply involved with the Chavistas. And I asked her to help me out with a passport. Don't worry, I'm going to have someone fixing that problem for you. Then someone called me and told me, you have to be in downtown, very dangerous area, at this government building where they print IDs and passports and things. Right? Ministry of, is that Ministry of Justice down there? I think so. That is in charge of that. You're going to come at, I think, 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning through the back door.
Okay.
There's a metallic blue door. We go there with the baby on a cart in the middle of that, in that shithole.
Yeah.
Both of us with the baby. So we go there, knock on the door. The guy opens the door. And we walked into this huge corridors, empty, little light on. He goes like, okay, yeah, I'm here with the passport. Yes, okay. He goes in, hold the baby's head, take the passport, picture. Okay, good. He says, wait for me here. And he walked upstairs. It might be 10 minutes or maybe half an hour. I don't know. He came downstairs. Black. Here's the passport. The passport was already printed. The passport, a real passport.
Right.
Not a fake one, a real passport with this picture so we could be able to leave the country.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the money? Yeah, here's the money. Okay, here's the passport. Thank you. Open the door. We left. We had a passport. That's how long it took us to get a passport. So if you need a passport for today, it can be done.
Oh, of course.
There's no reason to create a passport crisis. There's no reason to have an airport crisis. There's no reason to have any of those crises. There's no reason to have a housing crisis. Look at this. Look at this. This is absolutely stupid. One of the things that baffles me, it's this. There is not one member in politics, involved in politics in this country, even from down here, okay? The whatever title you give to the people that is the lowest of the lowest in politics down here, that doesn't own a home. Right. There's not one member in the Canadian government, in the US government, that doesn't own a home. They own multiple homes.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to elect you that own multiple homes so you can pop the real estate bubble and drop down the prices of your $2, $3, $4, $6 million investments into a real price of $600,000 investment.
Mm-hmm.
How do you expect politicians in this country to fix the housing crisis if they are benefiting from the housing crisis because they bought a house in $1 million and the house is worth now $2 million? And you expect that person to take I'm going to pop the bubble, so I'm going to lose
value on their own properties. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to fix it. And the more people they bring in,
the bigger the demand for the supply and demand.
Now, I'm going to do something very important when I bring people in, and this is a sociologist that explains this. If you bring people from countries that are politically educated, they're going to see it right away. They're going to leave.
Okay.
If you bring people from countries where they don't have a say in politics, who votes in China, in Saudi Arabia, who votes there, in the Middle East, who votes in?
They don't.
Who votes in Morocco, for example? King Jordan in power. Who votes in Jordan? No one.
So you don't think
who votes in Iran?
Yes.
No one. So if you bring people that don't vote, don't have that, why are they going to argue with, oh, I can vote. Fantastic. I feel so happy I can vote here. That's why you have people like, for example, many Ukrainians that came in and say, well, you know what? Fuck it. I go back to Ukraine.
This is true.
It's like, I can see, and they can tell you, I can see this is fucking communist.
Yes.
Anybody from Venezuela or from Cuba, because I know many people here from Cuba or from the Eastern Europe, are going to tell you, we're going in that direction. Mm-hmm. Like I tell you, I can see every single country like Canada or the US going exactly in the same direction as Venezuela because it's a script and you can read it. And the things that are happening, it's not like I read the future, it's that I know what's going to happen because people say, oh, how do you know what that was going to happen? Because we lived through it already.
Yep. The greatest predictor of future behavior is the past behavior.
Exactly. Right? Again, we go back to the fake pandemic. 1918 pandemic, right? The Spanish flu pandemic.
Okay, yeah, the Spanish flu.
Yeah?
Yep.
Which was, by the way, was Chinese.
Yes.
Because of 93,000 Chinese soldiers deployed in the south of Italy. What happens is that it was identified in Spain. That's why it's called the Spanish flu.
Spanish flu, yes.
But the Spanish flu, something around 20 million people died the first year from Spanish flu.
Mm-hmm.
The second year, something about 50 million people. But the first year, people were getting out of the war, starving, destroyed. Why and how come more people died on the second year? Why? Super simple. They did three things. They did lockdowns,
Yep.
masks, and social distancing. People died of pneumonia for wearing a diaper on their head. Social distancing, you don't have an immune system. Lockdowns, you're depressed.
Yep.
Lowers your immune system. So it did happen already and it didn't work. And we know over 100 years ago. And we're going through the same thing and the same cycles are happening, but people don't know history.
Right. And people who speak such knowledge were ridiculed. Right?
Of course.
You know, social media, which was controlled by the government. There was
it is still, and it's yes,
absolutely.
Do through a bill. There's a bill, very important bill. Another example, C-63.
Yes.
Right. Well, that's a Cuban bill that Chavez put in place in Venezuela, and it's called Ley Resorte, the spring law.
Okay.
Like springs, you know.
Yeah,
bing,
yeah.
Bing, bing.
Yeah.
It's called the spring law. It's the same. It's the same law. Oh no, but that's to stop. I don't know.
Misinformation,
or that's to stop terrorism. No. Hear me out. With that bill, what I'm saying right now here, they can say I am a terrorist.
100.
But what I said about the WEF and how Dominion voting system in Canada controlled the elections and rigged the elections in Canada for Trudeau and now for Carney with the mail-in ballots and altering the data in the computers because they're hacked, because they are Wi-Fi connected. And one of the things that Pollo Carvajal is going to prove, he said, is that all of those elections are controlled from Venezuela. And Venezuela and Iran have a very strong alliance, very strong alliance, very strong alliance, okay? So strong that nowadays they traffic oil from Venezuela. They send ships with different flags to Venezuela and they rob oil. They literally rob the oil and they take it to whatever and sell it to whatever in China or whatever. That's another thing. But they do that. Human trafficking.
Yes.
They do that. They do the human trafficking. If you follow the human trafficking into the US and the human trafficking into Europe, it goes through Iran and it runs into the sea that is up there and crosses the sea and you end up in Ukraine and it goes into Europe. Right?
So you've seen such violence, you've seen power struggles and corruption. How do you maintain a balance in dealing with people? Because you've seen the ugliest side of people. How do you keep
sane?
Like, how do you keep because for you, the curtain's been pulled back. It's not like other people. We live in sort of like in ignorance. We haven't, and we talk about, and we said this earlier, a fight is not true violence. You've seen some horrendous.
Oh, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
So how do you keep respect for humanity?
Belief.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no other way. There's no way. You can't be sane if you don't believe in something bigger. Okay? If you want to call it God, you want to call it destiny or the universe.
Faith.
I don't care, but it's faith, belief. You have to have faith. I grew up in faith. So if you ask me if I believe in certain spiritual paths or things, I love theology, by the way, so I like to study that. I don't believe I know. So I don't believe in God. I know there's a God.
Okay.
People tell me, oh, what's going to happen after you die? Man, I don't believe. I know. It is like that. There's a reincarnation process. And in fact, if you go to the original Bible, the Ethiopian Bible, because remember the first Bible is the Ethiopian Bible. And then the Coptic and then the Greek Bible and the Coptic Bible, the Orthodox Bibles.
Okay.
So the first Bible, the Bible's King James Bible, the one we read here, if you're a Christian, it has 64 chapters. The original Bible has 84.
Okay.
Many books were taken out of it, and were taken out of the Torah too,
Okay.
like the Book of Enoch.
So I've heard.
Okay, and many other things were taken out of those books, right? And the same goes with the Quran, because you're reading a Quran that was edited in 1926, and he says in the back of the book, just open it and read it. And there's like 7 different ones. Okay, so it is a book. It is a book. But if you go to the original Bible, you will see that there is a chapter in reincarnation.
I thought that was more Hindu-based.
Yeah. You're right. Hinduism.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
You're right. Because there is a theory.
Doesn't Buddhism also believe in reincarnation?
Yes. Because it comes from Hinduism.
Ah,
too, right?
very good. Okay.
Yeah. But many, not only that, because we have, remember that we have thousands of religions. There's a Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, I love the dude.
Brilliant guy. He's an atheist, right? He doesn't believe in anything.
Right.
But he has a very, he said something that is absolutely brilliant of him. During an interview, how can you be atheist? And he said, well, look, there's more than 3,000 gods. I just don't believe in one more God than you. You don't believe in 2,999 gods, and I don't believe in yours. So I believe in, do you understand? I
Yes.
don't believe in the 3,000, but you don't believe in 2,999.
Fair.
Okay? So it's fair. That's true. Oh, yeah, we know that what happens is that many of those gods are maybe not gods, but are important figures, or you can call them prophets, or you can identify them how you want. But in the end, having a faith in some guidance, it's not a power that is going to punish me. So I don't believe in that Catholic God or the Muslim God that is going to burn me in hell or is going to punish me for this or that. No, and it's not all that I believe in the Protestant God that Martin Luther described as is going to forgive your sins or anything like that. It's not that. It's that I believe we are here in life to learn. We came here to learn. We are a spark of life, maybe a spark of the same God we're talking about. Maybe a spark of the same God we're talking about. Maybe with even the same power. Okay? And we are in this life to learn, to make us wiser.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to come back for many more lives to learn and to make us wiser. So my spirit can become wise enough maybe to have its own world and dimension or something like that. Maybe to become a God on its own, right? I don't know what the purpose of that is, but our spirits are here to learn. So what makes life beautiful is learning. I believe learning and sharing that knowledge that you get.
Yes.
So if you, and there's Jack Kornfield, a Buddhist monk, that said, if you don't believe in reincarnation, meditate for 10 or 15 years and we talk about it. I grew up meditating, thank God. Thank God I love meditation. So I meditate a lot. And it puts me in a place where I can see that what I'm telling you, it's true. There's other ways. Yeah, I've been in the spiritual world my whole life. I've been involved in things like ayahuasca, sacred medicines in general, into a ritualistic faith system, not into some fashion thing that you go do on vacations. And all of that has proven to me that God is real and is us.
All right.
So it's a learning experience. If we move, because we have a Judeo-Christian concept of good and bad, good and evil. But maybe if we move more into that, you said Buddhistic concept of good and evil, and then we expand our understanding of, is it evil or is it a learning experience?
But you've seen such evidence of pure evil.
Yes, because there's a war in between good and evil. Not the Judeo-Christian value evil. Jesus Christ on one side holding the cross and hitting you in the head, and the devil with the horns jumping on the other side, right? Which is a very nice way to picture it, okay? But if God wants us to grow spiritually, what we call evil or wrong might be nothing but an experience for us to learn how to deal with it, to develop empathy, to decide not to be it.
But those are some heavy fucking lessons, and people.
Yes, and horrible. But if you go into Buddhism, for example, and Buddha tells you,
life is
pain,
suffering.
No. Hear me out. Pain is unavoidable. Suffering is. Meaning, you can choose to attach to that pain.
Sure.
And suffer. Or you can decide, which is fucking hard, to let go. You can say, well, Bruce, you fucked me up because you went out with my ex-girlfriend after I broke up with her. Such a bad friend, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I feel hurt. Were you hurting me? No.
Yeah, it was a dick move to do.
Yeah. But you're not hurting me. I feel hurt.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Dick movement. Yes. Okay. Which, by the way, guys, never happened. Sir is a gentleman, so don't worry. But I feel hurt. I can suffer or I can let go. And let go, there's two ways to let go. Buddhism talks about something called radical acceptance. That's life. That's what happened. Now let it go. And the second one is saying, hey, maybe Bruce needed to be with her. Maybe Bruce really fell in love with her and she fell in love with him. Who am I to stand in the middle? Maybe Bruce admires me or envies me so much that he wants to be with my ex, can take my place. So there's many approaches that I can have that will help me release.
Sure. Okay.
And then there's no suffering anymore.
That frees you, right? But like, I'm not so quick to forget transgressions. So that helps you. That allows you to be free of whatever emotion that my dick move did.
Yeah.
But I haven't grown by what I did to you.
No, because it's your path, not mine.
Okay. Yeah, I can accept that.
So it's mine. It's what I'm doing, because the only thing I have control on is the way I react to things. I have control of absolutely nothing. And when we roll in jiu-jitsu, I tell you, you can't control it. You have to flow. You have to make it happen, and you have to take advantage of when it happens.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You can't control it. You're going to get tired. Right? If you hold like Kesagatami as I control, 100 kilos, right? You can't hold it. You can't do anything to me. You're just holding me, and you're going to get tired.
Right.
Okay, that's life.
What a fucking trip this podcast has been. We went from jiu-jitsu to the ultimate fight of good and evil.
I think that everything I do in my life is interconnected. Okay, there's no separate things. People might think I do many different things. It's in the end, for me, everything I do is a life experience and a life lesson. Okay? So for me, everything is interconnected, and I try to find the similarities or things that help me, right? So like the way I can withstand pressure in jiu-jitsu, I can withstand pressure in life, right? Oh, my credit cards and collectors. I have 20 calls. Yeah, don't fuck with me. I'm not going to pay you. So, what can I do? What can I do? Right? So we stand with that pressure. It's, oh my God, I'm being, the pressure, the bank is calling me, the thing. Can I change it? If I can change it, I'll change it. If I cannot change it, stressing out about it, it is going to change the outcome. No, so I have to, let go and be present in the moment. Take a deep breath. When you're fighting, you don't know what to do. You're about to get choked out. What you have to do, I tell you, breathe. It puts you right there. Nothing puts you into the moment. Nothing like breathing. Okay, boom, I grab my arm. So is that what, how am I going to feel? If I can breathe, if I can be present in the moment, maybe I find a way out. So I don't know. I'm not saying evil doesn't exist. I know it exists.
You've seen it more than others.
I know it exists. And what keeps me sane is knowing that God is in control of all of that. Okay?
But then one might argue that that's a dick move for God.
Does God follows the Judeo-Christian values? Is God Judeo-Christian?
I would say no. I would say God is.
Because Judaism and Christianity, like many other religions, was created either for men or by men. Right?
100%.
Okay? So is God following our human life 3D standards, or is he a bigger thing? So because either or, right? If he is a bigger thing, he understands me and he forgives me the same way I forgave you from going out with my ex. Because he understands, he's above me. He understands. Either he is that or he's below me and he's going to make me pay for the mistakes I made.
Or perhaps
below me because I can't forgive. But then you're saying me God can't. And you say why? But then why is going to forgive the bad things you're doing? Because that's your life experience. Are you going to pay for that? Yes, of course. It's called karma. You're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that. There's no way out. And one of the things Satanists like to do is they have the excuse that if I tell you what I'm going to do to you,
you suffer twice.
No, karma's not going to hit me.
Oh, really?
I tell you, this glass has poison. If you drink it, you're going to die. Drink it or I'll kill you. You drink it, you die. But I told you.
That's fucked up.
I don't have karma. Exactly. That's why they tell you. And that's why they grab you. When they kidnap you and shit, they tell you, I'm going to rape you, I'm going to kill you.
Wow. So they feel that by telling you, it exonerates them.
If you don't let me rape you, I'm going to kill you. So you say, no, you're not going to rape me. You chose. I didn't choose to kill you. You chose to be killed. It is not my karma.
That's fucked up, dude. To justify it that way is fucked up.
But that's Satanism. It has to do nothing with reality. But some people believe that will work. It's like, oh, that's fantastic. Of course, I can do all the shit in the world because if I tell you I'm going to do it to you and you accept. Let's go. Let's watch some movies tonight. If you come, I'm going to rape you. And you come, well, I can rape you because there's no karma. I thought you were joking. I didn't say I was joking. So that's a satanic ritual. That's the way they do it. Right? So they believe there is no karma. Of course there is karma. Because karma is energy. It follows a law.
Yeah, yes.
It's not a decision. Karma is not a decision. There's not, because you did this, you're going to have this as karma. No. It's absolutely equivalent. Let's say if you are unfaithful to your wife, she's going to be unfaithful to you. Let's say it's the equal thing, the same thing. It's just a stupid example, right? But karma is going to be the same thing. Oh, but that guy died without paying karma. But who told you his next life is not going to be horrible? And now it comes to something super hard to understand. why a kid would be born in the middle of hell, in the middle of those poor ghettos in India starving, or in the Middle East, in Yemen and Oman. Why? If such a precious, beautiful soul is being born there.
And you think that's karma?
That's the only explanation.
So then that would be a justification, because one of the arguments against God is that kids are born with cancer or born with some disability. So you feel that's karmic retribution.
Yes. It's not my theory, by the way. No, I'm explaining some karmatic theories that there is. But it makes sense, and it gives you kinds of, but then let it happen. No, let it happen, because it's my job as a good human to try to lessen the suffering of innocent people. I'm going to help you. I don't care what your karma is. I'm going to help you because that's my dharma. That's my decision. That's my karma helping you. I don't know what your karma is. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. And I'm here to help you and rescue each and every one of those kids. Because it's the same kid that was kidnapped to be used as an organ donor or as sexual victim. I'm going to save that kid because it's a precious fucking jewel.
Right.
So why satanic movements attack kids? What is more pure and precious than a kid?
Sure.
What is closer to God than a kid? What is not but God almost himself in flesh, but a little baby?
That's deep. Fuck, we went right down the rabbit hole on this one.
So I think there's many ways to look at it, right? And that karma doesn't mean that I'm going to just look away. I'm not going to do anything. Because then I'm creating a karma for myself. Mm-hmm. I'm running away from what I have in front of my face. And I have to take an action, right? Like Einstein said, the bad in the world is not only because of bad people doing something bad. It's because of the good people
not doing anything.
Good people not doing anything.
Right.
You're creating your karma by not doing anything.
Sure.
You can't stand on the sides when you're seeing someone suffering, right?
I believe
now,
that.
I'm not here to judge your suffering, and I'm not here to judge why you are suffering. If that theory about you paying your karma because you were an asshole in previous life is true, I'm no one to judge you. I'm going to help you lessen your suffering. When you save someone, when you rescue someone in any situation, and the person turns to you and tell you thank you, man, that's one of the most beautiful things. That thank you is so deep. It's like, it's beautiful. It's amazing. Okay? That's the payment, that energy, wow. That is payment. It's beautiful. So I think we're here to learn.
And to help others.
Yes, that's right. That's part of our learning. Absolutely right.
Okay,
right? And part of learning, it's I'm not going to hurt or fuck up anyone because there's no reason. Why wouldn't we? Are all the same. We are all the same. Having different experiences, different paths in life, we're all the same.
Let's end it right there with that. But since I know so many things about you and your other stories, you got to come back and tell us some of your history in Special Forces. Deal?
Deal.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Love it.
Thank you.
It's a nice conversation.
Be great.